My fiancé said our couple's therapist preferred to text between sessions, so we didn't lose momentum. The advice was flattering to him, dismissive of me, and curiously available at 2:11 a.m. on weeknights. When I asked for the therapist's license number, my fiancé said, "She's low-key, private practice, mostly referrals." 3 weeks later, my carrier's usage log and a set of email headers said something cleaner than any diagnosis. The therapist was him on a prepaid number and a throwaway inbox he routed through a domain he bought with our joint card. I didn't post a takedown thread. I made a folder. Then I scheduled 2 calls, one with the real clinician, whose name he was using, and one with a lawyer who likes verbs. This is the map I wish I'd had the first night the therapist suggested I apologize for weaponizing calendars. I'm Mara, 30, technical editor. I put version numbers on grocery lists. My fiancé, Evan, 32, marketing, talks like a TED Talk, got stuck at 1.25x speed. We met in a climbing gym. He belayed me and then tricked me into liking IPA. Inside jokes, playlists, a lease, the usual escalator. We decided on therapist first, wedding later. A rule I'd seen in a friend's marriage because it front-loads the hard stuff. We booked Dr. Brenner, licensed, office near the park, photos of succulents that weren't dying. 2 months of real progress. She asked questions like a locksmith. Then Evan said we should add micro-support between sessions. My friend's therapist does it, he said. Texts and short calls so you don't stew for a week. He showed me a contact in his phone. Dr. B, direct line, with a local number I didn't recognize. He said not to clog her public portal. She separates billing later. The first between sessions text landed at 10:44 p.m. after we'd argued about a vacation. Dr. B, Evan says you're anxious about logistics. Try letting him plan this one. It's good for avoidant partners to step up. The style felt off. New therapist phrases. Old Evan preferences. I assumed I was defensive. I replied with a heart because I'm polite even to pixels. 2 days later, Dr. B suggested I share my location with Evan as a trust-building exercise. That's not a clinical intervention. That's a control setting. I said I'd think about it and regretted the heart. Beige flags multiplied. Dr. B used emojis, Dr. Brenner didn't. Dr. B texted only outside business hours. Dr. B answered within seconds when Evan was home, slower when he was out. I didn't accuse. I opened notes and wrote, "No, don't know. No. We have a real therapist in office. We now have a direct line by text that suggests things the office version has never suggested. Don't know. Whether the texting number belongs to our therapist, whether this is kosher, or whether my body is right to go cold when advice tells me to be small. I asked for an email summary for my file, like any patient. Dr. B responded with darbpacifichealth.org from a Gmail-looking interface. The message had a confident signature block, license number, and a link to telehealth policies. I clicked the link. It 404'd to an index page with lorem ipsum. Honest clinicians don't do lorem ipsum. I forwarded the email to my personal account and opened View Original, raw headers. The return path read darbpacifichealth.org. The SPF failed. The DKIM signature aligned with pacifichealth.org, but the received SPF line showed the last hop was smtp.securemailrelay.net. Not unusual. But the originating IP resolved to a generic cloud provider where anyone can spin up a relay. The message ID domain was pacifichealth.org. If it walks like a duck, it still might be a decoy if the pond is rented by a liar. I checked Whoas for pacifichealth.org. Registered 6 weeks ago. Registrant privacy on. Name servers. A budget DNS reseller. I searched the Wayback Machine. No snapshots. Then I checked our joint card. 2 months prior, a charge to ease domain, hoistpriv, $19, and another to mail router pro, $12.0. Evan had joked that month about buying a domain for a side project. He didn't show me the project. My teeth touched. I called my carrier, AT&T, for a detailed usage log, my line only. They provide timestamps for incoming, outgoing texts, numbers and times, not content. I asked for a PDF export for 30 days and highlighted every row with a Dr. B number. Pattern: texts at 10:44 p.m., 12:03 a.m., 2:11 a.m. None during business hours. Another pattern: on nights Dr. B was chatty. Evan's line, we share an account, showed no activity for 30 minutes before and after. On nights he was out with friends. Dr. B was quiet. I asked the carrier to confirm the rate center and type of the number. VoIP, ARJ, prepaid. Could belong to anyone, anywhere. The agent said, looks like a common app number. I wrote that down like a small bone to chew later. Then I placed our phones on the table face down. Call Dr. B, I said. He did, on speaker. The call rang, went to an automated generic, voicemail has not been set up. He shrugged. She's probably with a client. Try the office, I said, and dialed the one on the legit website. A receptionist answered on the second ring. Dr. Brenner's office. Do you offer texting between sessions? I asked. We do not, she said. Secure portal messages only. Emergencies are 911. Does Dr. Brenner use pacifichealth.org? I asked. No, our domain is brennertherapy.com. I thanked her and hung up. Evan shrugged again. Maybe it's her old group. Maybe, I said, and thought. Or maybe the group is your pocket. Act IV, the kindness of boring evidence I didn't ask him to explain. I asked computers. 1. Reverse lookup. I used a legal reverse lookup service to see the purchase date of the VoIP number. It was issued one day after Evan texted me, Dr. B wants to offer us tech support. I took a screenshot. 2. MX records. I queried MX and TXT records for pacifichealth.org. SPF included the mail relay I'd seen. DMARC was PI none, rookie config. Real clinics either have a parent IT or a vendor. They don't set PI none and call it a day. 3. Favicon and assets. I loaded the fake site and saved the favicon and CSS. The favicons metadata listed a creation username, evan.design. He'd registered that handle on Dribble in 2018. People think they are thorough until a favicon says their name. 4. Apple ID sign-in alerts. I turned on Apple ID email alerts for logins, already on. That night, while Evan was in the shower, I saw a banner. Your Apple ID was used to sign into MailRouter Pro on a Mac. The IP, our home. I took a photo with my iPad. I didn't need to chase. I needed to lay a table he'd sit at. I wrote a calm email to Dr. Brenner's real office. Hello, I'm a current client. My fiancé and I have received texts and emails purporting to be from you between sessions from number and email. Before I assume a breach, can you confirm whether these are yours? For your security team, I can provide full headers. Her office manager replied within an hour. These are not ours. We will place a note in your chart and reach out by phone. Dr. Brenner called me herself. We set a time the next day without Evan. In her office, I handed her printed headers, the WHOIs, the favicon metadata, and my carrier log with the 2:11 a.m. pattern. She looked tired in the way clinicians get when they realize the knife isn't a metaphor. This is not therapy, she said. This is impersonation and coercion. We will document this in your file. I recommend you do not engage further with that number. If you intend to confront him, do it in daylight with a witness. She added a line to my clinical note. Patient reports partner impersonating clinician via text, email. Advised to discontinue contact, document, and seek legal counsel. Offered resources for digital safety and IPV. I did not cry in her office. I do that later, in my car, hygienically. I invited Evan to the table on a Sunday afternoon. I invited my friend Rowan to sit quietly in the kitchen with her tea. I put my phone on the table and said, truthfully, I'm recording for clarity, okay? He said, sure. Because people who invent therapists love confidence theater. I set out 7 pages like a dinner service. Carrier log with the VoIP number highlighted. Reverse lookup issuance date. Raw headers with SPF fail and cloud relay origin. Who is with registration date. Joint card statement with domain plus mail router charges. Favicon metadata printout. Dr. Brenner's statement. Not our number, not our email. Then I asked the only question that matters when the lights come up. Do you admit you created the number and email and impersonated our therapist? He did 5 laps of the usual track. Educate me about secure messaging. He was wrong. Minimize. I was just trying to keep us on track. Victim. You never trust me. Future fake. We can laugh about this with her later. Make it noble. I did it to help you regulate. I repeated the question. Silence is a metronome. Keep time. He stared at the favicon printout like it was a spider. Okay, he said. Yes, I set it up. It was a test. I slid 1 sheet of paper and a pen across the table, a 1-paragraph admission drafted by a lawyer friend. I, Evan, last, created and operated phone number, sex, and email, darbepacifichealth.org, and used them to impersonate our therapist to my fiancée, Mara, last, without her knowledge or consent. I sent messages and advice under that identity. Date, signature. He signed. Rowan witnessed. I scanned it with my phone in front of him and emailed it to myself with the subject, Evan admission, therapist impersonation. Pack a bag, I said. You're going to your brother's for a week. We'll discuss next steps in writing only. He blurted 3 apologies and 1 insult on his way to the bedroom. Both sounded like someone trying to find the right key and breaking the lock instead. Carrier and number takedown. I texted stop to the VoIP number. Then I filed an impersonation report with the VoIP app, simple web form, attaching the signed admission and Dr. Brenner's note. The number was suspended within 24 hours. Domain and email takedown, I reported pacifichealth.org to the Registrar for Impersonation and Fraud, attaching the admission and a letter from Dr. Brenner's office. Registrar suspended DNS pending investigation. Mail relay disabled the account. Therapy chart. Dr. Brenner added a detailed addendum in my chart documenting impersonation and my plan to disengage. She offered a referral to an IPV-informed therapist if I needed a separate space. Paper is a witness who never posts vague subtweets. Legal letter A, local attorney sent Evan a cease and desist plus preservation letter. No further contact pretending to be any clinician. Preserve all devices and accounts used for impersonation. All future communication with me in writing only. Devices and accounts I rotated all passwords, enabled hardware keys on primary accounts, email, bank, Apple, and reviewed device lists for any of his logins. I factory reset the router and set new DNS. I turned off Find My Sharing, removed shared calendars, and ended session tokens on my laptop. Housing our lease allowed either party to request a transfer to sole occupancy with landlord approval. I asked to remain. The landlord agreed if I assumed the full rent. I can. Evan signed a release. Banking, new personal checking, moved direct deposit. Froze the joint card, paid it, closed it. Set alerts for new credit inquiries and froze credit at all 3 bureaus. Documentation. I created a folder called Therapist Impersonation with Admission, Takedown Emails, Dr. Brenner's Letters, Registrar Receipts, and a timeline. Boring saves you 3 times, now, with HR if needed, and in your own sleep later. Evan asked to talk with our therapist in the room. Dr. Brenner declined. She will not schedule sessions for apologies by proxy. He sent a 6-paragraph email about his childhood, how conflict scared him, how texting as the therapist calmed me faster than arguing. I replied with 4 sentences. You impersonated a clinician to control the content and timing of my feelings. You did it secretly, knew it was wrong, and tried to normalize it as support. I am ending the engagement. All future communication should be limited to logistics by email. He wrote back 2 more times asking to meet. I did not respond. People imagine closure as a conversation. Often it's a document. His mother called me crying. He said you're overreacting, she said, and then, quieter, I don't know what to say to him. You can tell him you love him, I said. And you can tell him to find a real therapist and be honest with her. She thanked me for not lighting him on fire on the internet. I told her I'm not a wildfire. I'm a spreadsheet. I emailed my own family 1 paragraph. Engagement ended. I am safe. Please don't reach out to him. We are handling housing and accounts. I love you. I told 3 close friends the details. I asked them not to play telephone with mutuals. Secrets rot. Not everything needs public compost. Evan works where rumors are currency. I work where a clean reputation buys you time when projects slip. I met with my HR for a preemptive, sanitized disclosure. I ended an engagement due to personal safety and boundary issues, including impersonation of a clinician via a number and email he controlled. Here's a letter from the clinician confirming impersonation occurred. If anyone contacts the company with allegations about my unstable behavior, please route to legal. My HR rep nodded like a person adding a shield to my file. Thanks for the heads up, she said. That is all I wanted. A note, not a memoir. I scheduled movers for a Tuesday morning. Drama sleeps in on weekdays. I labeled boxes in block letters. I left the air fryer, took the cast iron, left the houseplants, took my grandmother's stool. The dog is mine. We agreed months ago that if we split, she goes where the writing desk goes. He was not there. I had a civil standby scheduled just in case. I didn't need it. He left a note that said, "I'm sorry," in a handwriting that has been sorry before. I left a check for the remainder of the month's utilities. Clean exits aren't about kindness to him. They're kindness to me later when I don't want to text about a $40 bill. I sleep in the middle of the bed now. My phone lives in the kitchen at night. My therapist, a new one mine, laughs softly when I tell her I can identify a DKIM misalignment faster than my own tears. Those are both literacy, she says. You just got more practice at the first one. Sometimes at 2:11 a.m., I wake up out of habit and listen to the room not ping. The silence is not empty, it's a statement. I keep the admission paper in a folder, but I haven't looked at it since the registrar removed his domain. It exists for the same reason smoke alarms do, to keep me from thinking I'm imagining it if I ever smell something again. Not literally, I'm squeamish, but if I could stamp them on a page, they'd read, "Therapy is a protected space. If someone offers to extend it off-channel, call the office and ask." Legit clinicians do not text from unknown numbers with emoji at 2 a.m. Email headers are a friend. If a message uses the clinic's domain, but the SPF East DKM DMARC story doesn't match, assume spoof. You don't have to be a network engineer, you have to be curious. Whose isn't scary. If the domain yourtherapistnamehelp.org is 2 months old and privacy registered, it's probably not your therapist's. Separate truth from treatise. If someone offers a 5-minute TED Talk instead of a 1-sentence answer to "Did you do this?" you have your answer. Record calmly. In one-party consent states, say, "I'm recording for clarity." If not, bring a witness and take notes. Paper beats performance. Administrative exits are merciful. To you. Passwords, locks, cards, calendars. Boring as a bridge. Walk it. You don't have to burn them to keep yourself warm. Takedown forms, not takedowns. Receipts, not revenge. How to view raw headers. Gmail. Open email, 3 dots. Show original. Look for SPF. Pass, fail. DKIM, pass, fail. DMARC. If the from is clinic.com, but SPF and DKIM don't align with clinic.com, red flag. How to check a domain quickly. Whoisdomain.com or ICANN lookup. Creation date. Registrar. Name servers. If brand new plus privacy plus budget DNS, Visit in private window, check footer, real clinic's list address, NPI, license. How to handle VoIP numbers. Text, stop. Report inside the app's portal. Every major VoIP has abuse. If harassment continues, file a police incident number. You may never use it, but it exists. How to talk to the real clinician without burning bridges. We're current clients. We received off-channel messages claiming to be from you. Do you offer that? If not, I want to flag possible impersonation. Happy to provide headers. Keep them out of the drama. Keep them in the loop. How to do a clean breakup checklist. Fast. New bank. Move direct deposit. Freeze credit. Experian, Equifax, TransUnion. Rotate passwords. Enable 2FA hardware keys. Change locks. Smart devices. Factory reset router. Lease addendum. Schedule movers on a weekday morning. One email channel for logistics. Silence unknown callers. Folder. Admission. Take down emails. Clinician letter. Timeline. People ask me if I miss him. I miss ideas he said we would be. Sunday pancakes. Summer road trips. A kid who knows basic knots and is kind to moths. Those are not proprietary. I can make all of them without a voice in my pocket pretending to be a doctor. When the phone buzzes now, it's my sister sending a photo of her toddler's socks, mismatched on purpose. When it's late, it's a weather alert. When I'm anxious, it's a meditation timer I can stop by breathing. He texted once, a month later, a link to an article about shadow work. I archived it without opening. That's a boundary and a hobby. If you're here because someone held up a credential, you couldn't quite see, and you believed it, because you wanted to believe in help, hear me. You weren't naive. You were generous. Be generous to yourself next. Ask the header what it knows. Ask the receptionist what their hours are. Ask your own body if it likes being coached by a man at 2:11 a.m. pretending to be someone who took an oath. Then pick up a pen and write one sentence you might never have to use but will save you if you do. I admit I did this. Get it signed. File it. Walk away. Your life will be so quiet you'll hear your own ideas again. They're good. You can trust them. If this map helped, tap, like, and subscribe. I post long-form, receipts-first stories where paper beats performance, digital impersonation, contract traps, and the calm, satisfying art of leaving with your dignity and data intact. In the comments, share the smallest boring clue that ever saved you. A header line, a 404 footer, a midnight timestamp. I might compile them into a viewer checklist next week.